Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, lived a girl named Odette. She was a beautiful girl who loved to take solitary walks along the lake. Maybe it was her beauty that got his attention. One day, on one of her walks, she found that she wasn't alone. Hidden in the brush lurked the avian sorcerer Rothbart. With wicked intentions, he emerged from his hiding spot and approaches Odette. Terrified, Odette tries to run, but Rothbard was too quick. He then casts a spell on the poor girl. Swan by day and princess by night, you shall forever be in my grip and under my sight. White feathers bloomed from the girl's body as she transformed into a beautiful white swan. With a heart full of sorrow, Odette remains at the lake that was once her favorite place turned prison. It's Prince Siegfried's 21st birthday, and the courtiers and peasants have gathered to celebrate his coming of age. In the young prince's honor, many toasts are made and a pas de trois is performed. During the festivities, the Queen Mother presents her son with the gift of a new crossbow. She also informs him that it is time he finds a bride. The Queen announces that there will be a royal ball the next evening in which all eligible princesses across Europe will attend. It is there that Prince Siegfried chooses his princess and future queen. The prince is overcome and disturbed by his thoughts. The idea of selecting a wife from his mother's selection saddens him. He then sees a flock of swans fly overhead and decides to take his mind off the matter. He grabs his new crossbow and heads out into the night, leaving his thoughts of the ball at the party. Night has fallen in the forest, and Siegfried, equipped with his new bow, arrives at a beautiful lake. He comes upon the swans that flew over the palace and takes his aim. Before he could shoot, though, the swan he was aiming for started to transform into a beautiful girl. It was Odette, who, at this time, was proclaimed to be the Queen of the Swans by the other swan maidens. Siegfried immediately was captivated by her soulful countenance and starts to approach her, but she becomes frightened by who she perceives as a stranger. When Siegfried assures her that he means no harm, Odette reveals to him that she and her companions have been cursed by the evil sorcerer Rothbart. They are condemned to be swans by day and can only take their human form at night. The spell can only be broken if a man promises his love and remains faithful to that vow. Siegfried at once declares his eternal devotion, but no sooner has he done so that Rothbart appears. When Siegfried seizes his crossbow, Odette shields the evil enchanter, for if he dies, the curse may never be broken. Rothbart, knowing he can't be harmed, takes his leave from the lake. After Rothbart's departure, the Swan Maidens gather upon hearing the news of Prince Siegfried's declaration of love for their queen. They were overcome with joy and began to celebrate. They danced with happiness because there was hope for the spell to be broken and their freedom within reach. Odette and Siegfried reflected on their love when dawn breaks. Odette tells her swan maidens that it's time to transform back into swans. After the maidens turn back into their swan forms, Siegfried bids a tender farewell to his beloved Odette before she succumbs to her enchantment and reassumes her form. The guests assemble for the great ball in which Prince Siegfried will select his future queen. The Queen Mother and Siegfried enter the ballroom and observe the selection of princesses eligible to be his bride. These princesses hail from Spain, Neapolitan, and 2 from Russia. However, Odette was on the prince's mind during the presentation of these princesses. When the last of the 5 princesses finish their dance, Siegfried informs his mother that he can't marry any of them. Before he had a chance to explain, trumpets sound to announce the arrival of 2 uninvited guests. A distinguished gentleman walks in, accompanied by Odette. The prince was overjoyed at finding his love again and asked her to dance. When their dance concluded, the prince declared his love once again to Odette. The queen was overjoyed that her son had finally chosen a bride. Odette's escort then spoke to Siegfried and asked if he swears an oath of love to the princess. The prince then complies, and the gentleman grins a victorious smile. He reveals himself to be Rothbard himself, and the princess that the prince swore his love to was in fact the sorcerer's daughter Odile in disguise, who was enchanted to resemble Odette. Upon realizing the gravity of his mistake, Siegfried rushes out of the ball and towards the lake to find Odette. The swans are grieving for their queen. With Siegfried's broken vow, Odette's hope for love and freedom have vanished. Distraught, the prince enters and explains to his beloved that he too was betrayed by the evil magician. He begs Odette's forgiveness and explains that he could never love another. Odette understands and forgives him, but nevertheless, the fatal error condemns her to remain a swan forever. Instead, she determines that she will die. Rothbard endeavors to drive Siegfried away and keep Odette for himself, but the lovers defy him. Odette flings herself into the lake and Siegfried follows. Siegfried's and Odette's steadfast love breaks the enchanter's spell, and Rothbard too collapses and dies. With the curse removed, the lovers' spirits are finally free. Their spirits then take flight and are reunited for all eternity.